We're back. I'm sorry, I forgot to plug in my mic. I don't know. I should either plug it in or leave it up. I don't know. I don't know. I unplug it because it's right next to my work computer, and I don't want my computer picking up anything that I talk about at work. So, here we are, and I'm just kind of looking at my stream. It's looking a little interesting here as far as my bitrate and stuff goes. I'm not entirely sure what is going on here. Let's see. I don't really have that many windows opened up, but I guess sometimes I do. And yeah. Anyways, we're back. Our nine-tailed fox is coming along quite well. This is our swatch that we used the other day. I had played around a little bit with using the Bombay white just a little bit ago before getting started on this stream that we had picked up a little bit early today, which is what I wanted to do yesterday. Got a chance to do it today. So I've mixed a little bit of white with this purple. You can't really tell the difference, so I'm like, that didn't really do what I wanted. Coffee break. I'm not sure why my bitrate, looks like everything's leveled off. It's interesting how when I first start, things are a little bit in the red, and then after I get going, it picks up. So much better. It could be also that my little one is home today sick, so hopefully she starts feeling better here soon so she can go back to school. She came home early yesterday, so keep our fingers crossed. With this whole COVID stuff, it's not like where you have a cold all the time and kind of get used to it and you adapt to it. Like with COVID, with all this extra hygienic protection and the masks and all that other stuff, that common cold, you forget how painful it is to go through the common cold and how it is with the healing process since you haven't had it for a while, or you don't have it as much as you used to, where it was like once every month or every other month or something like that. But now it's less common, and when you have it, it just seems like that much worse. But anyways, so I tried the white on the orange and yellow. You can't really see it too much. There's a few more lines in there that are a lot fainter, but you can see a couple of them in there. So obviously when it's a darker color, you can see the lines a lot better. You can see a lot more that are in there. And the purple, of course, I did a little bit of testing there. You can kind of see how when I did the use that brush with the tip on there, when I carved into that yesterday to play around. Excuse me. So anyways, yeah, I was playing around with it a little bit today. I also tested a little bit with the water brush, got this wet and seeing if the heavier inks smeared a lot like that one, which, the graphics like that did. But nope, these inks are staying put even if I try to reactivate them. And that's what I was trying to test when I get to the close to the tail area and stuff. So I'll try to get in a different position here. So I was just thinking maybe I can use that white possibly on the fox area to maybe bring up some highlights in there. I could potentially do some on the tail a little bit later on if we decide to, but for now I was just kind of seeing like what would happen if I mixed it with a color or did it just straight up over the top. It's just a lot like a gel pen, with a little less control when you're using the brush, because you see the heavy lines, the fat lines, the thin lines, and all that other stuff. So good stuff. So I hadn't gotten my inks started yet because I didn't want them to dry out, but that's okay. So I am thinking Um, we could do something a little bit different in regards to how we're going to paint the box. I'm thinking we can go in with some of the purple here for the darker areas. I'm going to do a couple of drops in here. 1, 2, 3, fine, that'll work. And then I'm going to dilute it a lot like I did with that other sheet. Let's do 10 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I was thinking like doing like what I did before, do a whole wash and then do the colors over it, but I don't think we'll really need to do that. Let me keep my colors in a line so I know which route I go around my color wheel. I mean, right now, like, it's pretty obvious what color I'm working on right now, but I'm going to just come in with this diluted purple. Still pretty dark, but that's okay with me. And I do have this water brush, which I put off to the side. I'm going to come in and wet down this paw. I still want it purple, but I don't want it as dark. I mean, the gradient down there is going to make a difference anyways, but yeah, get a lot of this ink off of here, so it's not that much. And come back in here. Blend it up here so I don't have that hard line that I just started seeing develop. And there we go. First paw is done. Just the same thing with the back paw, the underbelly. And I can go back in with the white like I did with the swatch over here onto my right and define the lines a little bit later as needed, because sometimes you can use white to create like a highlight. Nice dark area there. Come back behind this paw here. Paint this in. I do want it to kind of feather out when I get over here, so just kind of wet this area down. So when I touch the ink to it, it'll do that. It'll do my natural bleed out. So I don't have to worry about a hard line, which if I didn't do that, I would definitely have a hard line. Where I don't want it. Sometimes hard lines are not a bad thing. But it depends on what look you're coming from, which look you're trying to achieve, that sort of thing. I'm going to wet this area down a little bit because this, I think, would look good in the purple. Not only because I kind of tagged it the other day, but I'm just going to leave the cap off of that. But so fade this purple out. It's not needing to be too dark over in this area here right now. A little bit more ink. Back in with my water brush. I'll blend that a bit. There we go. It really doesn't take long for a lot of this to dry. I'm going to do the purple in these shadow areas too. Squeeze. I probably got too much water in there now. It looks like it. A little overboard with my water here, but we'll see. I do have a dry brush over here that I can pick up some of that extra water with. So stop pooling where I don't want it to pool. A little bit of ink. And just come in with these shaded areas. There we go. This area is not as wet as the first area, but still think it's working pretty darn good. Remember, once I put it down, I am committed when it comes to this ink. Come back in. Phone's chatting with me. Water brush. Wet this down again. Let's dry it up some. If I just went in with the ink and then came back or did not wet it, then it would be quite dark like down there. So wetting it down helped. Oh, Jesus. I dip it in there just a teeny weeny bit. And it's not picking up as much ink as I wanted it to. I'm gonna go in here and do some stippling. Like this, I did some stippling here. Come back and do some stippling a little bit over here. And over here. Not too much of a fan of that on this one, but that's okay. Excuse me. As long as you keep it wet. Okay, took a little bit up. Then you can pick up some ink. But as soon as it's dry, it's done. Just do it a little bit over here. I did some on the other side, so do some over here. There we go. I just kind of mess with that area here. While doorbell rang. While that was drying. That looks really cute on that side, but this side does not look so cute. See if I can adjust it some. There we go. I think that looks better. Alright. I'm gonna rinse this off and let that dry for a minute, and I'm going to go pick up what the mailman just dropped off. I'll be right back. Maybe we should just leave it the way it is. I think I like it. Oh. Finish the pause first. Okay. Let's do this again. I liked how this ended up. Come in here with the water brush. Sometimes it just likes to blow up. I didn't even give it a squeeze that time, and I just decided we're going bleh, all the water. Oh. I'll pick up a little bit of ink there. And pick up a little bit of ink there. Just started getting a hard line. No, I think I just redid what I undid. Does that make sense? Redid what I just undid? I don't want that much on there. Do you want that back paw to fall deeper into shadow here? I'm gonna do this. Just do some short brush strokes. I like what I did with the tail. Drop that back there a little bit more. Maybe not. You can always go darker. You just can't go lighter. Okay. See what that looks like. Go back in with my water brush here and get this paw done. Hoping that we won't get a hard line here. I mean, it's probably going to be inevitable, but we'll try to avoid it as much as possible. Now, a hard line on the top of the foot, I'm okay with that, because that's a line anyways. Drop that back behind the other foot anyway, so let's see if we can increase our chances of darkening that up a bit. And come back in with the water brush a little bit to try to feather this out a smidge. Oh, it doesn't look like much, but I like it. Now, as far as the rest of the fox goes, because purple I was thinking of using it as the low lights, the dark areas, and then coming back in and doing a wash over the top of that, actually, with a different one. And I figured that they would blend a little bit better. I still am digging this, the way the fox looks right now. But I'm wondering if we shouldn't incorporate another color to it. I'm just debating. I do have this pen and ink India black fountain pen. Um, Water-based, black-free, micropigmented, light fast, and permanent. Ideal for sketching, dry ink, and does not bleed when used with a wash. So, this ink, it's a good ink. I've had it quite a while. I'm probably going to need to shake it up. There was like a little camper reservoir in there. Hated it. So I popped that sucker out and got rid of it. But I have not used this in a while, so I need to shake it up. I'm sure it's settled quite a bit in the bottom. Oh, catastrophic! I let go of it, but I'm shaking it. Fail. Okay. It didn't break open. There's still quite a bit of ink in here. But here's what I'm thinking. Clearly I just got the purple so far. I might even just use the purple and do the black, but not a lot of the black. More of it just to tone down the fox so it's not white. Might use the bloom effect, kind of like what the purple did down here. So I am hopefully it doesn't. It's not going to blow up, but I just don't want the ink to overflow when I take the cap off after shaking it. Alright, this is how this dropper ends up getting this way, is because this ink just stains everything so bad. Get it as clean as possible. Looks good. Alright. I got a drop on there. Got little droplets all over the place. That's the thing about that India ink. I got some on my hands. It just gets everywhere. 8 drops of water. I mean, probably could just use this water in here. But let's do this. This is kind of what I was thinking. Sorry for the noise. This makes me sad. Lots of little stains on here. I need to come back in with a wipe and wipe it down. Hadn't had a chance to dry fully. It's still going to be there a little bit. But baby wipes. Definitely like how that bloomed out and stuff. It's still wet, but I really like how that worked. So I think we're going to go with something like that. We're going to wet the fox down. Excuse me. And see, look at that. All from that little dropper. Alright, I just didn't want to smear it all over the place. Alright, so we're going to do a wash all over the fox. Get it nice and wet. Try to avoid the bell and the eyes, of course. And since that purple is already on there and dry, I don't have to worry about ruining it. I will not be streaming on Friday. Friday is what I like to call exchange day. Well, actually, a coworker of mine got me to saying that, exchange day, so gotta take care of some things in the morning. So does not give me enough time to do that and start a stream and then get to my real job. So every other Fridays are a no-go for streams. I could skip it. The errands and stuff on those Fridays, but that means I just have to do them on Saturday, and I like to enjoy my Saturdays doing whatever I want to, and that's not running around doing errands all the time. Sometimes it's just chilling, playing games, cleaning the house, other stuff that does not involve being behind a wheel of a car and driving around. Sometimes it happens, but not always. Alright, let's see. I hope we have enough on here. So we're going to try to do... Nope. Okay. I do not have my fan on right now. Maybe we'll just stick with the face for now, and then we'll do the body. Come back in with the body. It is winter, so air can be a little bit more dry. Okay. Sorry, I'm focused. Come back in with some water here. It's a little bit... I didn't rinse my brush off. And I should have. But that's why you just gotta play around, experiment, test, see how things go. It works, great. This diluted a little bit more. The light's coming this way. A bit more black than what I wanted right there. Just dab it just a smidge. Just make sure I rinse my brush off. Yeah, I definitely like that. That face has a lot more definition to it. Now as far as the body, because the face is going to probably be a little bit brighter than the body, so I'm thinking that if I were to do a more of a wash with this black in here on the body area, try to get as much water on here as possible, just because it was drying so fast. It's still slightly damp when I first went over it, but not to the point where it's going to make anything obvious. The ink is going to stay where I put it. It's not going to bleed out like it does when it's really wet. And that's a nice thing about this paper, watercolor paper specifically, because it's designed to get wet and hold a lot of water. Cotton watercolor paper, which is much more expensive, that stuff um, holds water a lot longer than this stuff does. Yeah, and as of right now, I'm just kind of going in with a very faint amount of pigment, as you can see probably, just to darken the body up so it's more all of it in shadow. One problem I have with mixing colors for myself is I always seem to not mix enough. I always run out. And then when I need to remix it, I can't even get the right saturation of colors in there. I try. I try my hardest. Doesn't always work out. Alright, so we got some pooling of water in a few places, which doesn't really bother me much. Just where it's pooling is where it'll be darker anyways. I'm just kind of coming around with a dry brush, picking up some water. I'm just taking it off. I'm going to darken up this reservoir here that I've got. Come back in. A few of the areas that need to be a little bit darker. It'll come in, soak up some of that extra ink, or not extra ink, extra water that is in my ink right now. There's a lot right here. It's just a really deep recess. I know I just took away everything I just put there, but I'm just going to kind of go in with a drier brush and get that pigment where I want it now. A lot less saturated this time. Alright. I still want more darkness in here. Here. Looking pretty darn good. And what are we at for time right now? Oh, I'm looking at my thing. Okay, 48 minutes. We're almost into an hour. Pretty darn close, but starting early kind of gives us a little extra time to work on some other stuff. I'm going to turn my fan on, dry this up a bit, and then we'll come in with um, a fine brush and get the couple of the finer details on there. I mean, that's the great shadows and all that other stuff. I really am enjoying this nine-tailed fox. Sorry if I'm repositioning here, making too much noise. Um, really enjoying this nine-tailed fox. This body on it, um, didn't entirely know which way I would go. I mean, I was really thinking of going with these colors on here, which camera does not show how vibrant this truly is. I don't know if I turn down the brightness a little bit. Now you can definitely see more of the vibrance with the camera turned down a little bit. Yeah, definitely digging this fox here. She's looking pretty good. I'm gonna go in. Well, and I could do a little bit of this, a little bit of this. And just kind of darken this area up just a smidge bit more. And back and behind here. Just wanted to make that a little bit darker. Push it more to the shadow area. Still pretty wet. I did put quite a bit of water on there. But, yep, just letting her dry off. The face is probably pretty much dry, if not all the way out dry. I'm gonna use this, and I hope I don't regret it. I'm gonna go over the nose a little bit. Trying to teeny tiny little lines, teeny tiny little lines, very faint. This here is part of the rope. I skipped that on purpose because, or not part of the rope, but part of the shadow back behind the box. Yep, then we have the bell and the eyes left after I'm done messing around with this. I was thinking with this one here, see that's brush, I don't know if you can really tell, it's not exactly a fine tip like it was the other day. But as soon as you get it wet, it sharpens up nicely. And it's just because of the nature of it. I'm just gonna go in here with the black brush here. In with the black. Just gonna add some hairy details. Ever so slightly. Ambulance or fire truck just going by. Wasn't sure if you would hear it, so I just decided to take a pause and see if I can see anything come up on my microphone. But I don't think you heard it. There's probably lots of stuff you don't hear, like the dog. I don't think the dog came through yesterday. I was kind of wonder if I should do like a couple lines up here. There's there. Add two over here. This is a little bit drier. It'll still kind of feather and fade out a little bit, but brush is getting kind of dry, which actually might work in my benefit a little bit here. Really not trying to go too heavy-handed on this, but when you first load a brush, especially a good quality brush, really soaks up that ink. And I do try to drag it on the side of my dish to take off as much excess as possible so it's not heavy-handed when I first start using it, but just sometimes it's the inevitable. Practice, practice, expect the worst, hope for the best. I'm gonna come down in here a little bit. This way. This area is still pretty wet. But maybe working into my favor a little bit here. Right here just looks a little funny. I think I just need to add a little bit of shadow there. There we go. And you let that dry a little bit more, and then I'm going to do the same thing again. All the lines that I had done had bloomed out a little bit, so they're not as pronounced as some of these other ones. So it was a pretty wet area. Yep, since we started early, we're good on time, I think. Yeah, we'll get the fox done today. We'll push, get through, get it done. Alright, let's try it again. Not that I'd had much time to sit and wait, but let's see. Kind of a little bit of a dry brush right there. Alright, that I am happy with. You can kind of see like a hard line right through there, but I'm not too worried about it. It's kind of supposed to be a hard line to a degree. Yeah, this paper's got quite a bit of moisture still in it, so some of the ink hasn't completely 100% set yet. That's okay. Stop messing. Okay, so next let's do the bell. That India ink. I got this Bombay brown. Or we can do... Should we do a different color? Should we do... a pink? A red? I mean, I was thinking brown because of the other ropes and stuff are brown. But we could do a different color. We could even do something kind of fun. I have this guy, which it's got gold flakes in it. And it, I don't know if it's alcohol based or what exactly. But it's got a nice little fleck to it. There's definitely no dropper on this guy either. I'm gonna get this all over my fingers. Yep, definitely all over my fingers. Let's do this. Let's do this with a... Get it wet with a water brush first. You can even tell that that is actually wet. Okay. And I'm gonna come in here with my ever so poopy brush. That gold flake fell to the bottom of the jar. Done this before, I'll spill it everywhere. That's my luck. That's my luck. I'll just settle right down back to the bottom. Ugh. That's okay. That's the last of the coffee. Now we can go to the eyes. Let me see. We used grass green last time, I believe. I don't know, just dig in the green eyes. I think green eyes just pop. Or we could do the yellow and orange. Yep, that's what I was thinking. Yellow and orange. That's what I was thinking. I don't care. I'm just going to shake this. I don't care if I get bubbles in it. It's all pretty much shook it up anyways from last time, so it hasn't had a chance to settle too much. One drop. One drop. Let's go in with these eyes here. Just going to leave that one spot. Do I have another dry brush over here? Sure do. I'm going to see if I can soak up some of the water on this. All right. Let's see. Is this brush clean enough now? Kind of looks like it. What about this one? This one's been working really good for us. All right. I really want a lot of yellow on this eye. Or these eyes, to be specific. I only use one drop, and I'm barely going to use the whole drop on all of this. It's okay. There's her eyes. Not completely done. I'm going to be using the orange in a little bit here. But, back to the bell. I could do the brown for the bell. Just give that a good old shake. Come in with my water brush, because that pink is pretty much dry, and I'm not entirely sure if this pink will reactivate if I'll touch it, so I'm going to try to stay away from it. Is that one I have not tested? Bad me. I don't care. No big deal. I'm not worried about it, because I think this box here has turned out pretty darn good. With everything we've done. We're gonna let that dry, and then we'll come back in with another layer. For those eyes. Eyes are actually pretty darn good right now. And drop in the orange. I'm gonna add a little bit extra contrast to them. So make sure my fine brush here is all clean. Too thick in a few areas, and that's not what I was trying to do. You can't see it as good as I can, but some of those orange lines ended up way too thick for what I was looking for. Still have some yellow. Maybe just go over it a little bit more. Maybe see if we can get you a little bit closer to see what it looks like here. Come on, focus camera. Alright, just a moment here. I think I'm gonna have to go to manual focus mode. Just bear with me for a minute. There we go. So, coming in with the orange, just doing some faint lines with the orange. Gonna add a bit of the contrast. Looks like there's quite a bit of water in there. Blot this off a little bit here. There we go. All right, and back to the brown. Get my brush all cleaned up here. And let's take a look at this brown, kind of make this bell look a little bit more 3D. I come in with my water brush again. Kind of helps push that pigment around a little bit while it's wet. Let me think, what else do we want to do while we're here? I still have a lot of this black. I'm going to kind of trim up some of this rope here. These few lines I kind of got blended in, and I didn't print too dark either, so I'm just going to go in here with this black and just touch up a few areas here. This pink, I can kind of see a few gold flecks over here a little bit. Alright, I bet you when I look further away it looks better. Looking up close like you're right now, it looks a little odd, but trust me, when you're not normally going to be this close to a picture. so it looks better when you're at a distance. Still want to add a little bit more contrast to that brown, but I'm gonna dilute my brown in my dish here a little bit. Kind of come back in and define this a little bit. This is just a wet brush. Kind of blend it out a little bit more. Make it look a little bit more 3D. Yeah. I think that would be the final touch on what I'm looking at doing. I'm going to bring the camera back out again, so sorry to get dizzy. To autofocus back on again. There's our nine-tailed fox. Pretty awesome, I think. I think she turned out quite cute. I had thought about if we needed to go through with the Bombay White India ink to kind of highlight anything, but I think I did pretty darn good without having to worry about it. So this would be marking the end of our nine-tailed fox project. Tomorrow we'll be back to work on, I'm not sure where I put that other picture. It was the two mermaids, the boy and the girl that were shaped in a heart or whatever. Sorry if I'm making too much noise. Ah, here they are. I knew it'd be under here. We're gonna work on this tomorrow. So we'll see how that works. But yeah, no streaming on Friday this week. Yep. Oh, and don't forget, we gotta sign our work. I will sign mine and my pen. And today's date is 3/9/22. Ah, sorry. Drop my pen. Yeah. That is our nine-tailed fox. So, I think we did pretty good on this one on how fast we got it done. We did go over an hour a couple of times, but 3 days worth of streaming. Did pretty good. Thanks for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful and safe day. Be good out there, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you.